Something subtle is happening in modern society, and most people are too busy arguing to notice it. Men are not protesting. They are not complaining loudly. They are not declaring war on love. They are simply stepping back. Quietly, steadily, without explanation. At first glance, it looks like disinterest. But underneath it, something deeper is unfolding. A psychological shift. A behavioral correction. A response to prolonged emotional strain. For years, dating was framed as progress. More apps. More options. More freedom. More connection. But for many men, the experience produced the opposite effect. Instead of closeness, it created pressure. Instead of intimacy, anxiety. Instead of meaning, constant evaluation. Men were encouraged to improve themselves, and many genuinely did. They worked harder, became more disciplined, tried to communicate better, tried to be emotionally available, tried to meet expectations that were often unclear and constantly shifting. Yet improvement did not lead to stability. It led to exhaustion. The more effort they invested, the more conditional everything felt. Interest seemed temporary. Validation felt transactional. Affection felt fragile, as if it could disappear at any moment for reasons never fully explained. Over time, the nervous system adapts. When effort repeatedly leads to uncertainty, the brain learns a simple association. Engagement equals stress. Not love. Not safety. Stress. So the system begins to withdraw. This withdrawal is not bitterness. It is regulation. Men are not quitting love because they hate relationships. They are stepping away because their minds and bodies are seeking relief from an environment that feels constantly evaluative. Modern dating often places men in a state of continuous audition. Every message feels like it's being scored. Every interaction feels like it could fail without warning. This keeps the nervous system in a low-level fight or flight state for months or years. And eventually, the body says enough. What many men discovered after stepping back surprised them. The silence did not feel empty, it felt calm. The absence of constant anticipation created space. Mental clarity returned. Emotional energy stabilized. For the first time in a long while, there was no pressure to impress, no fear of saying the wrong thing, no invisible checklist to satisfy. Just quiet. That quiet felt better than expected, better than chasing, better than hoping, better than constantly adjusting behavior to remain desirable. This is not because men stopped wanting connection. It is because connection stopped feeling safe. Happiness, in this context, did not come from gaining something new. It came from removing a chronic source of stress. And once the nervous system experiences peace, it becomes very difficult to return to chaos voluntarily. This change did not happen suddenly. There was no moment where men collectively decided to leave dating behind. Instead, it happened incrementally. One disappointing interaction at a time. One confusing experience after another. Psychologically, this is known as learned disengagement. When repeated effort fails to produce predictable outcomes, motivation declines. Not because the individual is weak, but because the brain is conserving resources. Men noticed that sincerity was no longer rewarded consistently. Showing up emotionally did not guarantee connection. Planning dates did not guarantee interest. Communication did not guarantee understanding, so behavior adjusted. First, effort decreased slightly. Then expectations lowered. Then participation itself began to feel optional. Men started to pause before reaching out. Not out of manipulation, but fatigue. They stopped initiating conversations that felt one-sided. They stopped investing energy into dynamics that lacked reciprocity. This shift restored a sense of agency. Instead of constantly seeking approval, men redirected attention inward, toward health, toward work, toward personal goals, toward routines that produced tangible results. From a behavioral standpoint, this makes perfect sense. Humans gravitate toward environments where effort leads to reward. When dating stopped providing that feedback loop, other domains replaced it. Men found satisfaction in consistency, in training, in building, in learning, in solitude that did not demand performance. Importantly, this is not avoidance, it is recalibration. Men are not afraid of intimacy. They are cautious of instability. When the emotional cost of participation outweighs the benefit, withdrawal becomes adaptive. And once peace becomes familiar, the threshold for tolerating emotional turbulence rises sharply. This is why guilt, shame, or social pressure rarely works to pull men back. The nervous system remembers what calm feels like, and calm is hard to surrender once you've regained it. A critical factor in this shift is the perceived devaluation of effort. Historically, effort was a signal of intent. Showing up mattered. Consistency mattered. Reliability mattered. Today, effort is often reframed as expectation rather than contribution. When effort becomes invisible, motivation erodes. Men noticed that their actions were increasingly interpreted as baseline requirements rather than expressions of care. Kindness became assumed. Loyalty became expected. Stability became unremarkable. At the same time, criticism remained readily available. Psychologically, this creates imbalance. Humans are wired to seek acknowledgement, not admiration, but recognition that effort has meaning. Without that recognition, effort feels like labor without purpose. So men began to ask a quiet question. What am I actually working toward? If emotional investment produces constant self-doubt, comparison, and uncertainty, the mind naturally seeks alternatives. Men redirected their energy into spaces where contribution led to growth, where effort produced measurable outcomes, where feedback was clearer and more stable. This is why many men report feeling more grounded after stepping away from dating. Their sense of value is no longer externally regulated. Peace, in this sense, is not isolation, it is autonomy, and autonomy restores dignity. The most misunderstood part of this shift is what comes next. Men who step back are not closing themselves off forever. They are resetting their standards for emotional safety. After experiencing solitude without distress, men no longer feel urgency. They no longer chase. They no longer fear being alone. This changes the entire dynamic of connection. Love is no longer a requirement for stability. It becomes a choice. Men become selective, not cynical. Calm, not cold. Present, not performative. And this is where the real transformation happens. A man at peace does not seek validation. He does not compete for attention. He does not sacrifice his nervous system to be chosen. If connection returns, it must add to his life, not destabilize it. This is not rejection of love. It is refinement of it. The future of relationships will likely favor mutual regulation over excitement, stability over performance, and presence over pressure. And perhaps that is the deeper lesson here. Men did not stop dating because they stopped believing in connection. They stopped because they learned something fundamental about themselves. That peace is not the absence of love. It is the foundation that makes real love possible. If love arrives, it will be welcomed. If it does not, life remains whole. And that is why, for many men, stepping back did not feel like loss. It felt like relief.